Howdy, hi there, Jedi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Where's your Captain Kirk bathrobe? It's Starsy, dude.
Yeah.
Mm. Tell you, old and needing lots of water. I got more water here. Double bonus.
Before Old Man Theater takes place, you make sure you take care of Old Man Bladder.
Well, I gotta do that during Old Man Bladder
Yeah,
as well too.
that's what's called letting the dogs out. Right.
Who let the dogs out? How's work, buddy?
Long and tiring.
Yeah.
Like always.
You know what? The only thing that's long and hard on a policeman, the job.
There you go.
But that's a joke. I know. Fuck ops. Yeah, it is Star Wars Day, May the 4th day.
It is.
Not sure how recent that holiday is.
Holiday. Yeah.
Well, recognized day of celebration. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yes.
It's got to be pretty recent, I think.
I mean, it's the day has been on the calendar for thousands of years.
True.
Star Wars has been around for how many years? 77.
77.
46.
Yeah, 46.
Yep, or coming up on its 46th. I want to say that May the 4th has only become a thing within the last 10 years. Is my guess. Maybe 15 at the outer edge.
You would be correct, basically.
Yeah.
So in 08, Facebook group. Yeah, that thing started appearing celebrating Luke Skywalker Day. Before that, they said they did talk about May the 4th and a few kind of TV shows.
Yep.
In 2011, the first celebration was organized, Star Wars Day, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Really? I've been there.
Produced by Sean Ward and Allison Quinn, trilogy showing and all that kind of stuff. And since that point, basically, it's become adopted as an official celebration. As of 2013, Disney now officially observes the holiday with basically events and maybe various money-making stuff like that. And of course, Shri did wish me basically, I'm happy May the 4th. Such a geek. There's so much to talk about, right? It's not like I said, much like Star Trek, the franchise is so large. Even with just 3 films, even before we got any other properties, it'd be hard to talk about everything in probably like an hour or two to really encompass everything, right?
Yeah. Well, I know we always used to celebrate Star Wars Day at work just because we could. It was a lot of fun, and people enjoyed it. People seeing everyone dressed up in costumes and things like that, enjoying themselves, celebrating one of, if not the most popular movie franchises of all time.
Well, yeah, right. And my buddy made a good point. Star Trek conventions are like the fan safe space. You don't make fun there. But Star Wars Day kind of brought out, fandom to the outside world, and the kind of a day where basically the world about being, bullied. There we go. Flashback to looks like
and what movie did we pick?
Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan, one of the best movies of all time.
Yep.
Here you go. I got one for you. Guess what? I had to look it up. Do you think there's a Star Trek Day?
Yes.
That is correct.
I'm sure there is. I'm going to guess that it originated in Vulcan, Alberta.
Don't know. There's not a lot of information on it.
Oh, okay.
Looks like they only started celebrating it basically in 2021.
Oh, okay. Just to kind of hang with the Star Wars Day.
On September 8th, yeah. But get this, though. They also celebrate First Contact Day on April 5th.
Yes, I did know about that one.
I didn't know about that one.
Yep.
But yeah, so Star Wars. Where to start, though? Like I said, I guess we start with the trilogy, right? The original.
Yeah. I mean, they've just put Return of the Jedi back out in theaters.
I know. But
I don't think it ran very long. I think they only did it for like the weekend.
It was really brief. And that was the 40th anniversary of Jedi, actually.
I was just doing the ticker as well.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and I just never got around to seeing it. I thought I'd have more time, but now it was gone and you missed it, basically.
I can see why, because they would want to dedicate their screens to the new movies.
Well, yeah.
There's not a whole lot out right now for another couple of weeks when you get Memorial Day and Victoria Day to kind of kick off the summer blockbuster season, because I think that's when Guardians 2 comes out, and
Guardians 3, yeah.
Or 3, sorry, yes.
Yeah. The other flip side
Little
is
Mermaid comes out that weekend as well,
Yeah.
I think 25th or something.
Is Disney owns a lot of the back catalog now of Fox and all that, right?
Mhm.
So it is very hard for theaters to actually get back catalogs of most stuff, except for like Rocky Horror Picture. So I would imagine that Return of the Jedi was basically limited time, and that was probably on Disney's end. But even still, though, I'm lucky I live in a town where a theater basically has some of those old films come out. But yeah, it's pretty rare like that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it on the big screen again. You know, but Jedi is a good film. It's not my favorite film of the original trilogy.
It did have the most Ewoks in it.
It did, actually. Almost bugging me. They watched the Panther game.
Yeah, it's a commercial right now.
I know how it turned up anyway. So
you guys were up 3-2 last I saw.
There. But yeah,
leaves are leafing right now.
So the original trilogy, 3 films, now known as New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, spanning periods of 77, 80, and 83. Okay. Again, like I said, my dad took me to see the first one when I was 4 years old. I put a little note up on Twitter about it.
I did not see the first Star Wars in theaters.
I did, and
because I was 4 years old, and
well, I saw the trailer on TV, and I bugged my father for weeks to take me to see this space movie. He had no idea what it was about, and the commercial didn't really tell you. You saw ships and stuff. It was very kind of I'll tell you what, it undersold what you're going to see.
What was on TV, space-wise, science fiction-wise, at the same time?
77?
Star Trek, the original series, but that was off the air.
Galactica didn't come out till 78.
Okay.
I think. So, let me see, sci-fi TV shows.
When was Buck Rogers?
Buck Rogers was 83.
Okay.
Yeah.
So none of that stuff would have influenced or given you a hint of what you would be seeing.
No. And the stuff that was out was very kind of like limited, really. So I think you'd have here's one. Star Trek, the animated franchise.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me see here. Star Trek animated franchise. I think maybe Space 1999.
That might have been a bit earlier.
Yeah, you're right. Let me see here. I got one. $6 Million Man, tail end of it.
Oh,
but
wow.
Still, that's not science. That's not sci-fi really stuff.
No, because there's no space involved in it, really.
You know what? Between 75 and 78, there was a real big gap in any kind of sci-fi, because sci-fi wasn't popular. Sci-fi was just, it was seen as, trash, honestly.
Yeah.
And no one watched it, basically. You had basically what I can see is cartoons on Saturdays and stuff like COVID to Night Stalker. But still, there's nothing around 77. There's between 75 and 78, there was nothing for sci-fi, really.
Right.
Except for Star Trek and maybe Doctor Who, but mainstream, nothing.
Well, yeah, Doctor Who, I guess, was on definitely, because
but even still, though, I love that. May the Fourth be with you. But even still, though, sci-fi was poo-pooed. Star Wars came out, changed all that. Even when Star Wars was coming out, so Lucas said, "Hey, I did a really good job with American Graffiti." And she goes, "Yes, you did. We're very happy with you. I got another film. Great. What is it? It's a science fiction film." Oh. So Lucas had a wheel and deal, and basically they let him make it on a shoestring budget. And the deal was he didn't get a pay increase from American Graffiti, but they gave them the merchandising rights instead. It had a limited run,
Yep.
and most theaters had agreed to take. Most theaters wanted this like something of midnight. That was supposed to be the big summer blockbuster. So the studio made them take Star Wars as well if they wanted that blockbuster film that was not a blockbuster. But yeah, I remember seeing it. I can remember seeing. I
It
still
was
remember
a good bit of strong arm negotiations, I guess. Really.
Well, Lucas, as quiet as he was, he knew what he wanted, and he got it. Like,
Yeah.
he really rolled the dice on this film, in my opinion. Like, sure, it's a classic now, but you wouldn't know at the time looking at it. Even the actors thought it was going to be.
They thought it was a
trash.
paycheck and a one-off.
Yeah, like Harrison was ready to go on and do something else. Mark Hamill was worried about his hair in the trash compactor scene, and Harrison Ford goes, "Well, they're worried about that kid. We got more problems than that in the film."
When this thing actually crushes us.
Yeah. But it came out. It was a hit. I remember a little bit of pieces going to see the theater with my dad. I remember Empire sitting in the balcony of the theater seeing that one. But yeah, once it came out though, it changed everything. A lot of people try to capitalize on the science fiction movies and failed, of course.
Yep.
Because Star Wars is more about lasers and ships and people. It's plot and character.
Yep. Star Wars was great fun because every kid could imagine themselves in the movie.
Yeah.
Every kid put on their bathrobe and could be a Jedi. Every kid at Christmas, and to this day, my brother and I still do this from time to time, is beat the crap out of each other with the cardboard wrapping paper tubes as lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
When we were kids, we would draw on them and color them in and make them look like lightsabers and stuff like that.
Exactly.
You'd have a special one that you wanted to beat the crap out of your brother with.
Here's one for you. After Jedi, did you ever think we would see any more Star Wars? Like,
after the success of the Ewok movies, no. I thought though that we would get a Star Wars TV show. It took a long time to happen.
That's true, actually.
We did. But I didn't think that there would be other movies. No. So.
Yeah, I agree. I thought we were just resigned. We had 3 good movies, 1 bad holiday special, and we got the droids and the Ewok cartoons in the 80s, and we took that and we said, thank you very much.
Yep.
I never thought we would see...
The droids cartoon was actually pretty good.
It was.
But
the Ewoks, okay.
The Ewoks was actually a little bit better written, I think, or maybe a little bit better animated.
It was.
It didn't seem as cartoony as droids.
Well, they're both animated by Nelvana, Kitty and Company, all that. Different writers, though, but available on Disney Plus. My nieces and nephews love watching them. I think they're absolutely hooked. But yeah, and I thought for sure that'd be it. That'd be the end of it. And
there weren't that many. No. Really, were there episodes?
I bet you
like there were more Ewok episodes than droids episodes.
I'm willing to wager that each show, I'm just thinking top of my head, each show ran 2 seasons. I'm willing to wager each of the 24 episodes. I bet you.
Yeah, I'm going to say like 24 to 26 or something like that. Yeah.
Let's see here. Star Wars Droid. Ooh, 1 season. I struck out on that one. Yeah. 1 season, 13 episodes plus a special.
Okay.
I thought was
Ewoks, because I think Ewoks was on longer.
Oh yeah, because the droids had is it 2 or 3 plots, like stories, right? So 4 episodes made a story, and another one made a story.
They're kind of like little blocks of story.
Yeah. Ewoks 2 seasons, 25 episodes.
Okay.
But no, I didn't think we'd get any more properties after the first one. I was quite content. I could watch those over and over.
Yep.
What do you think of the special editions that came out in '97?
I remember really appreciating them for what they were, because it gave us a chance to see Star Wars on the big screen again.
Yes.
And it got to see, or it let us see some cleaned up special effects, which were nice. I didn't really care for the extras they threw in there. The extras didn't need to be there.
No.
All the CGI animal flipping the Jawa at the beginning.
Yeah. That
sort
was
of.
just showing off at that point.
Yeah, yeah. The Greedo shooting first.
Yeah,
Was
that one really sucks.
pointless. It's not that Han shot first. Han was the only one who shot. Greedo didn't even shoot.
Well, exactly. You know, and I
That
know.
that was some pretty bad retconning, I think, where Lucas wanted to save the image of his hero, and oh no, he's not a scoundrel or that bad of a scoundrel. He would never shoot someone first or shoot someone in cold blood. Uh, yeah, he would. He was a pirate.
Yeah, well, what's funny is we talk about that and the change that Lucas made, and then you jump to the Solo movie,
Yep.
and he does shoot someone in cold blood, which is kind of harsh in my
Yep.
opinion.
Yep.
I often wondered those special
That Solo
editions.
happened after Lucas was kind of out of the picture.
Well, true.
Right.
After one of those special editions, how much was it Lucas and how much was the studio? Because I don't know. Like I could see him doing the stupid stuff, like adding the no to Vader,
Yep.
and stuff like that. But some of the CGI and all that, and like I
The
don't know.
no to Vader was that was in the last one. That was in Revenge of the Sith, not in the special editions.
They added it in Return of the Jedi as well. I think they added a no. Yeah, there's one someplace in that one too that was like I was like, you know, like, it didn't work the first time, dude. So don't try to do it the second time, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? We still got new Star Wars films. We saw them on the big screen, cleaned up Blu-rays. We took them.
The best part about no Star Wars films was all the Star Wars novels and stories and comic books and games that filled in the canon, and the universe that they created, which, if I'm correct, all had to be authorized or verified by Lucas.
Absolutely.
To confirm that it was real, or that it was going to match with the grand design of everything.
Yeah.
That was really something.
It was almost
those were fantastic fun, like the Heir to the Empire.
Timothy
Thrawn
Zahn
series was fantastic. Even Shadows of the Empire, which
that was good too.
Was really good and spawned a really fun video game.
Some of them got a little dumb later on, like killing off Chewbacca and stuff like that. I found kind of like dumb.
Yep.
But the early ones were great, and you're right. Lucasfilm had to sign off on a few of them.
It gave us the massive expanded universe with Mara Jade characters, and
exactly
Jan and Jaina Solo, and whatever Luke's kids were named.
Anakin, I think.
Anakin?
I don't remember.
Anakin or Ben?
Ben. I don't remember. I think it was Ben. Yeah. I got one for you. Do you remember a Star Wars novel called Splinter of the Mind's Eye?
Yes, that was the Han Solo one. It was part of a trilogy, wasn't it?
No, not that one. You're right, though. There are Han Solo ones and Lando ones, which are excellent.
Yep.
You're correct, though.
No. The Mind's Eye, the one where they crash on the planet, and it was Lando, wasn't it?
It was Luke and Leia.
Luke and Leia, right. Okay.
So after Star Wars, or during Star Wars, Lucas engaged Alan Dean Foster to write Splinter of the Mind's Eye. This was meant to serve as a sequel if things took off, whatever kind of thing, or something like that. He did it, and he didn't, and basically went in a different direction. The novel's not that great. You know, there's a lot of stuff I wouldn't put on the big screen. But I remember when that came out, like the novels, we ate it up.
Yeah. Yep.
Like we devoured that. Like you said, those ones you talked about, they had a Han Solo one and Lando one, and they were a trilogy. Was it Han Solo at Galaxy's End? I used to read them. They popped up everywhere. I love those.
Galaxy's End or Space's End or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Same with
Star's End.
Star's End, yeah. They were all good though.
Yeah. Yep.
But we were starved, right? We'll take anything at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was kind of in the early days of VCRs.
Yeah.
So you didn't get a chance to rewatch your favorite movies whenever you wanted.
No, we really
had
didn't
to wait
actually.
To either return to a drive-in or do a special appearance at a theater or air on TV.
Exactly. And even when I had a VCR, it was a while for the Star Wars films.
Hmm.
It was a while. Because you
You
got
could
those and
rent
you got the
them.
Indiana Jones films. You could rent
You
them,
could,
yeah, and
you could
you
rent
rented them
them,
often too, trust me.
but they were very hard to. They were not at sell through pricing for the
No,
longest time.
no, you couldn't just pick them up. That was part of Lucas's probably marketing scheme, right?
That no, well, that and it was also part of the VHS pricing category or
Yeah.
strategy.
Well, exactly.
Yep.
That's why I like the beta, because the betas are a little more achievable. I thought it'd be fun to own the beta, Star Wars in beta, right? Just for the sake of conversation piece. But yeah, so we talked about the originals and all that. The re-release here. We'll get started talking episode. I should go up and say goodnight to Sheree soon. But episode 1.
Yep.
When you saw the trailer, what'd you think?
It was 1999, was it not?
Yeah, I think it was 99.
Yep. Yep.
I saw the
When it
poster
when
when
it
Anakin shot up first.
when it went to theaters, I loved it. I saw it twice in theaters
Okay.
because again, you'd had no Star Wars in the longest time, and they were a lot of fun. Looking back at it after the adrenaline rush and the hype wears off, it wasn't a great movie, that's for sure. There was some really cheesy
No.
stuff in it,
Yes.
and it was kind of toned down, but it was still Star Wars. Um, it was. It had most of what we wanted. It had Jedi's and lightsaber fights and spaceships and R2D2.
Yeah.
It had the beginning of this story that we knew the middle or what we thought was the ending section to.
Yes.
And as I remember, as soon as I got out of seeing episode 1, I said that was really good, but now I'm more excited to see episode 2 than I was to see episode 1.
That makes
I'm
sense.
really anticipating episode 2 because there were just so many questions that popped into your brain after watching it.
Precisely. I'm
Yeah.
gonna run up, say goodnight to Sheree, but I'll be right back because I want to tell you about episode 1. I saw the midnight showing of it actually, 12:15.
Oh.
Yeah. And I got another story about how someone snuck into it too. You're
Was
gonna
that
love this.
someone Will Wheaton?
No, but it involves a friend of mine using a wheelchair.
Oh dear.
Yes. I'll be right back. So stall for like 5 minutes.
All right. Is anyone out there in the chat? I haven't had my comments popping up here. I don't know if anyone's around or not. Give us a shout out. I see we got a couple of viewers. Let's see who you all are. Comment away here, folks. Where did you see Star Wars for the first time? Which Star Wars movie did you see first? Michael, good to see you. Which Star Wars movie did you see first? Did you see the original classic trilogy, the 4, 5, 6? Did you see the prequels? Where did you start? We all had to start somewhere, which then, of course, leads into the question of what order do you watch them in now? I haven't done a full marathon in a long, long time, mostly because work and life just get in the way. But the last time I did a full marathon, I did them in release order. I've never done them in episodic order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'd like to, but I also want to do the machete method, which I don't know if everyone has heard of that one or not, where they say that you watch. I guess you start with Rogue One now, and then you watch A New Hope, and then you do episode 5. You do Empire Strikes Back. Then you watch the prequels, either 1, 2, 3, or just 2 and 3, and you watch them as a flashback. and then you jump into Return of the Jedi, and then you can continue on with the rest of the movies as um, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm curious to see how that would work. I'm curious to see how that would work for first time viewers, because if you watch them in anything but release order, the um, the big twist, the big surprise of who Darth Vader is ruined right away, and it probably doesn't hit first time viewers as powerfully or as heavy as it hit us as we were watching it, and having our minds just completely blown by the revelation. You said that your dad took you to see the originals in theater, and that's awesome. Blew your mind. What part blew your mind? What was it? The whole story, the storytelling? Was it the effects? Was it the mythology? The aliens, the creatures? There was so much fun stuff involved in them that really was mind blowing. Yeah, especially as we were talking about earlier, there was no real sci-fi on, not on TV, but available at the time, other than this, and it was the big game changer. Um, and it wasn't just um, the movies, but it was the toys. Yep, yep. Um, laser. I love spaceship battles. I love watching all the spaceship battles we can get out of Star Wars, and Rogue One really did it well. And I thought that was fantastic stuff, and the effects um, were just top notch. But then you look back at the original movies, you look back at A New Hope, and I appreciate them more because, yeah, they had a pretty decent budget, but there were no computers. This was all hand animation, um, and everything was an actual practical model that they actually built and filmed and played with, which probably led to some of the toys coming out as well, because they were a whole lot of fun to play with. And I'm sure that the special effects guys were having a lot of fun building these models and creating the story with them. You haven't deviated much from the main storyline yet. So does that mean you've watched them kind of just in release order, or have you not done the offshoot movies like Rogue One and Solo, or any of the further TV shows like Mandalorian and stuff like that? It's it's nice. No offshoots. Okay, yeah. Um, I watched them because I'm a completist. I really wanted to know everything about it, or as much as possible. And Rogue One was fantastic. It was a gritty, um, down and dirty sci-fi uh, thriller, espionage story, and really built up very well and led into A New Hope perfectly. And you got to see some really, really cool Darth Vader stuff. You got to see Vader being the badass that he was always built up to be. And you really got to see it, and it was really cool. Um, Darth Vader was this big bad guy, mythological, epic level character, and voted on so many top 10 lists, top 100 lists, top whatever lists, as one of the greatest screen villains of all time. But if you watch the movies, he doesn't really do a whole lot, and I think that was just a reflection of the times and the technology, and also of the actors that they had. Um, they had David Prowse in the suit, and they had Sir Alec Guinness. Uh, as his combatant in the first movie, and Sir Alec Guinness was getting up there. You knew it wasn't going to be a John Wick level action sequence, obviously, but they still had. We still wanted more, and I think Rogue One, because of the times that we're in and all that stuff, could give us that, and you got to see some really cool stuff. The throat choke was totally badass, but there's more and more throats to choke in Rogue One. You watch the story in sequence with the kids, which was a ton of fun. So when you say sequence, you mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? I'm curious how they reacted to learning that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, Luke Skywalker's father, because I think that's one of the greatest twists, reveals, things thrown at us in movie history. It's bigger than Kaiser Soze. It's bigger than any of those things. It's bigger than the Crying Game. They could hardly believe it. Okay, but they kind of told you in the first, well, in the prequels, that was what was happening, and so it's not as big a surprise. But I guess it's a surprise when you figure it out at the end of episode 3. But you don't get that stunning reveal in episode 5. We're talking about male pattern baldness.
Yeah, I was gonna say basically. Oh, Bernie, I love that. Especially between Luke and Leia became really weird when I realized I dealt what that meant. Yeah, I was wondering if Lucas was projecting that, or to me, you know what that tells me? Lucas really didn't have all 9 stories written.
No. Well, as we know, when the first movie came out, it was just called Star Wars. It wasn't called Episode 4 or New Hope or anything like that. That didn't come on until much later, when he decided this is profitable. Let's make some more.
Episode 1,
and I can fill in the blanks and throw some other stuff at the beginning if I want to. So let's make Empire Episode 5.
And that was even much. Well, you know what? Did they open? Okay, so the opening scroll of Star Wars did say Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
It does now. When it originally aired, it did not.
Okay, because it was Star Wars, Empire, then Jedi. It wasn't like New Hope. Okay. So I don't know if you talked about the episode 1 a lot, but I've got some episode 1 stories.
No, we just kind of talked about what order to watch the movies in and stuff like that.
Yeah, I watched them in chronological order. Release order. No, I watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Right. And we were just kind of discussing how impactful the reveal of Darth Vader saying, "No, I am your father."
Oh, it's huge.
It would be if you watch them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because you already know that he's his father.
Okay, I'll put it this way. As a longtime fan, I'll watch him in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As a new person, I would introduce him I would do it in release order. No question.
Now we were talking briefly about the machete method, which you can now start with Rogue One and then go 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 as a flashback, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I'd go with that too.
So you still get that full impact of the Empire reveal.
But you're right. Without that that surprise of 6, if you saw what you'd be like, you know. Yeah, you're right. It would have been much more lost on that. Again, tells me Lucas did not have a plan for this damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my episode 1 story.
Tell us your episode 1 story here.
So I remember it was coming out and it was all hyped up. I was kind of excited. Hey, new Star Wars film, why not?
Yep. You were up in Ottawa at the time to see him?
Yeah, and the new theater opened up just down the road from me, the Silver City Odeon Cineplex one.
Yep.
And literally was open up for me about 3 weeks. So people were lining up. People got their tickets 2 or 3 weeks before it opened. People were lining up 3 days before. Hey, Pam, thanks for the raid, everybody. We're just doing Old Man Theater. Nice. Everybody, thanks for coming in. You're watching Switz Double Score TV. You've got Switz on one side, Uncle Gutty here. We're talking about all things Star Wars. Thanks for coming in. Thanks a lot, Pam. Much appreciated. I'm just telling my episode 1 story, which basically a new theater opened up. So back this time, we were starved for content. People had bought their tickets weeks in advance, like 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks in advance. People were camping out in the parking lot and lined corrals to be the first ones in for the midnight showing.
Just for episode 1.
For episode 1. Yep. I got my ticket 10 a.m. the day of. I got the 12:15 showing. I showed up at 9:30, and I was like 15th in line in my corral. And by the time it was rolled around, it was packed. We got in there. I, of course, made friends with the guy in line. We snagged seats together. He got snacks. I got snacks. No problem. The best one of my thing is I watched a guy and a girl comes in. She looks at me and says, "Save 7 seats together." And he takes off. That's okay, Pam. You'll like this story. Thanks, Sound the City. Much appreciate it. I do not, disclaimer, I do not recommend this method to seeing films, but this is what my friend did. They showed up literally 20 minutes before 20 minutes before the show started and got ace seats. Here's how they did it. The brother and his friend, one of them worked for a medical supply company. They went and got 2 wheelchairs. They parked out back, got the wheelchairs, rolled up. They got to go into the handicap access line. They were rolled into the theater. They were parked in the handicap spots, nice, and people went and got snacks for them.
Wow
is right. Wow. So if you're looking to get like a premium access and using a wheelchair and all that, I don't condone that, but it is a possibility.
Did you ever see the episode of the IT Crowd with the work outing?
Always.
Where they go to the theater and Roy accidentally goes in or purposely goes into the handicap toilet.
I can quote that one.
Pulls the chain, which he thinks is the flusher, which is really the summons bell, and then has to pretend that he's disabled the whole time so that he doesn't get caught for going into the handicap toilet.
That was great. Pam signed up for the Jacket Games. Like I said, we're talking about Star Wars. We're now talking about episodes 1, 2, and 3. You young pups out there might remember that one, and that is probably your Star Wars. I've heard that from a lot of people. For us old people, my thoughts episode 1, I was like, Larry David, eh. But you know what? I lined up to see 2 and 3, and it didn't get much better for me.
Now, were you more excited to see episode 2 than you were episode 1 after you saw episode 1 like I was?
I was curious. I was curious. But when I saw, I like, okay, and then episode 2 came out, I'm like, well, I thought, Lucas, you had a good shot, not bad. It was basically 2 out of 5. Let's see if you can do better with the sequel. And much like the Crystal Skull, no, I don't think he landed the mark. Like the ending of the Great Jedi Battle, absolutely great. It's sitting through that 2 hours of awkward teenage, poorly written dialogue crap to get there. That's the tough part.
If you look back at the originals, there wasn't a whole lot of dialogue, really,
and a lot of it was unspeakable.
There wasn't a whole lot of exposition or explaining.
No,
it was just kind of like, oh, let's go over here. Let's go
hyperspace, parsecs, Kessel Run.
Yeah,
like Luke, Hamill, and
buzzwords and sci-fi jargon in here to fill the time. Let's get back to shooting and flying and getting away and stuff.
Hamill and Ford said that they could barely pronounce a script. It was terrible. Even Fisher said that too. But yeah, I struggled through 2 and 3. I made it through. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, you've done 1 and 2. You have to do 3.
Well, I thought maybe 3 would be better.
Yeah.
And I must admit, again, the ending was the payoff with, the battle between. Spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen episode 3, between Obi-Wan and Anakin, of course, and of course Order 66. And you
It
know,
it was
amazing.
all really good because it filled in the blanks for us
That's
and
all we
showed us
wanted.
what we were missing and what had happened to the universe or the galaxy far, far away that led up to the movies that we knew and loved and could go forward with.
So episode 3 came out in I want to say I'm looking up. I'm going to look up on the sheet. Oh, 5.
2003. Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
And I'll tell you what, my kids, my daughters,
Yep.
that's their Star Wars, and they
Yep.
have no problem watching that. I'm a little more
Yep.
picky. Um,
then we get Rogue One years and years later, which I think did a soft reboot to the prequels to give us a little more adult story
I'm
to
trying to
lead
think.
into the classic trilogy again.
Yeah, we got Rogue One before Star Wars. Sorry, I remember when Rogue One was coming out, and I was quite surprised by it because, again, I didn't know what to expect, which is always a big plus. After the prequels of 1, 2, and 3, I had a sour taste in my mouth from Star Wars. I did
Mhm.
not have any faith in Lucas or to deliver. I was not a big fan of the Clone Wars cartoon, so I went into it with a fairly open mind, and I absolutely loved it. Um, reasons why I loved it, there's lots of reasons. Well, one is basically we're talking about the early days of rebellion. So, we've seen the older movies where they have this, massive fleet and they're actually on comparative footing with the Empire. No, this is a rebellion, like a guerrilla group trying to overthrow basically a massive army, fascist government. The guerrilla style, the limited equipment, the strike and run tactics, and almost the no ethical way that Andor behaves basically to get the job done, I thought was brilliant. And that's
Yep.
exactly what I wanted to feel. The way the film is shot, the colors and the cinematography is excellent. And all
The
in all, it was enjoyable.
the use of the archive footage and the old actors was
Yes.
really really cool and a technical don't want to say masterpiece but achievement.
It it gave us a new film that respected the past, but didn't lean hard on it like Solo did.
Yep.
And I was really grateful for that. It was my father's favorite film of the Star Wars films
Mhm.
because
Yep.
he said I was really good. It was kind of like a war movie and I could follow the plot, he said.
Yeah. Yep.
So he said I had no problems with that. And like I said, I can rewatch Rogue One on pretty regularly actually. And of course you got the Vader scene at the end, which I thought was just brilliant.
It wasn't full of hokey religions and ancient weapons.
No, and I'd argue too. Basically, it was one of the first times well, it was a long time. We saw Vader. Okay, this is why Vader is the one of the most feared
Yep.
forces in the universe.
Yep.
He's not just a one man army. He is, the way it should be, basically. But and after seeing that, I was actually kind of like, "Ooh, I'm kind of hyped now." This could be
Yeah.
turning a corner.
Yeah.
And then we got Solo,
Yep.
which I'll tell you, I did not like the first time I saw it around.
It got better after you
uh,
watched it again.
yes, I'll tell you
Yep.
what. When I first saw it, um, I was really kind of like, um, how do I put it? Disappointed. Yeah, disappointed
Okay.
because I felt every time I was getting into it, they kept saying, "Hey, look how we're going to tie it back to the original films." Like, "Hey, aren't we smart? Stop doing that. Just stop throwing it
Did
in my face."
did it come out before Force Awakens?
Oh yeah,
I couldn't remember where the timing was exactly.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it came out. Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna hold on that. I'll look it up real quick because I don't want to. Because I do know. I'll tell you what. I could be wrong though, because Solo did kind of torpedo future movie releases. Let me see here.
Solo came out in 2018.
Force Awakens 2015, 2017,
2015.
right
So it came
before
out
The Rise of
after.
Skywalker.
So it came out after
Jedi.
things happened to Han Solo in the sequels.
So it came out between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Okay. And I do know that basically Solo was kind of an attempt to see if well, I wouldn't say an attempt. It was a lot of hope was placed on it. It was going to basically do quite well and lead to basically another Solo movie. We see more of Lando and Solo going on and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and a whole kind of spinoff. But the poor reception of the film kind of just they backed off.
It was kind of in developmental chaos because it
Yes.
got the original writers and directors got booted from it. I can't remember if they wrote and directed or if they just were directing it.
I know they were directing because Ron Howard had to come in to finish it.
Ron Howard came in to finish it, who is an old friend of George Lucas's, and you could see some of the stuff that they did in the beginning of that movie. And I don't know whose footage was whose footage.
I'm just
But
reading this right now. Yeah.
You could clearly see that the drag race that Solo had at the beginning of the movie there, with the cops and all that, or whatever it was right out of American Graffiti. So I wonder if that was Ron Howard throwing that in, or if that was George Lucas throwing that in because he wanted to drop it back to that. I don't
Well,
know.
probably never really know, but actually, scratch that. I bet you I've watched enough times. I could tell which one's Howard, which one. I know Howard's style.
Yeah.
So what happened was the original duo were fired for creative differences.
Right.
They thought they were brought on to make a comedy film. And Lucasfilm said, no, we want you to give a comedy touch. And they started kind of adding a lot more comedy and not filming the script as it was written. They actually brought in the script writer, Kasdan, whatever, right? And they felt he was basically a shadow director. But in the end, basically, they just said, you know what? They fire them.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're supposed to add just a touch of comedy and they went overboard. And like I said, my thing basically is I don't mind a little bit of comedy, but set your tone. But like I said, this whole like, look what we're doing and look how we tie it back. Just stop. Just let it be. And like Mandalorian.
Yep.
It's just there, but it doesn't like big flash. It's gonna be big flashlights pointing to it. But you're right.
I'll give you 3 words that sum that up. Jar Binks.
Well, Lucas wanted something for his kids, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. On second watch of Solo at Home, I was a bit more softer on it, and it's not a bad film.
When I saw it in theaters, I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I didn't think it was 5 stars or anything like that, but
No.
I did enjoy it for the experience it gave.
The Solo actor was great. Curses Jar Jar Binks. Donald Glover as young Lando was fantastic. I'd love to see more of him.
A battle of the Jar Jar fans.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson was amazing in it. Now we're getting Jar Jar Binks fights. Jar Jar is amazing. He's understood. Chris Jar Jar Binks. Misa, Sasa. Yeah, Lucas, you know what? Like I said, Lucas had 2 good stories in him.
Misunderstood. Misunderstood.
Lucas had 3 good stories in him. You know, American Graffiti, Star Wars, and Indiana Jones. Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's it. That's the 3 good stories. But you're right. I was not enamored by it, and there were some different choices I would make. I'm a simple man with a simple word. And it did not do well. It did not make us money back. So it torpedoed future Star Wars movies because
future non-trilogy movies.
They were committed to finishing this trilogy,
or basically the Skywalker story, right?
They're committed to finishing that, so it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Hollywood in around 2018, 2017 was getting very gun shy of their money. They still are, basically. There's no more taking chances on new films, new concepts. Hollywood is going to produce sequels and remakes because they need the money. So once Solo did not basically become a blockbuster, I don't think we're going to see something like Rogue One again for a while.
Now, here's something I saw somebody say the other day, and it really kind of struck me as like, yeah, why don't we do that? There's all these great movies being rebooted and remade by Hollywood or whatever. Why don't they pick the bad movies the ones that were expected to do well but flopped, why don't they remake those instead?
because they lost money.
But this is their chance to fix it.
Nope, they want to make money, so that's why we're
I know
getting.
they want to guarantee that they'll make money. Yeah.
That's why Disney's giving us Frozen 3.
Ooh.
Yes,
I haven't seen Frozen 2. I
neither
did see
neither have
Frozen
I.
1,
Yep.
and
Wasn't bad. Made them a lot of money.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I could let it go.
But dots.
Hey,
But after the last two Pixar films did not do Toy Story numbers.
well, it's kind of funny that
Amazing movies.
the Disney movies are doing better than the Pixar movies are lately. Pixar movies have kind of dropped off at the Disney ones because Disney did Frozen, Disney did Big Hero 6, things like that, and those have done better than the last Pixar ones.
The last two definitely. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the last four Pixar films.
Okay,
Soul,
which one?
Soul, which I enjoyed.
Which no one saw because of the pandemic.
Luca, which
no
I
one
heard was
saw
good.
because of the pandemic.
Yep. Turning Red, I watched on Disney Plus.
Okay,
it was 3 out of
again,
5 for me. It was
no
not
one saw
top
because
tier.
of the pandemic, I'm going to
Yep.
say.
And Lightyear, which was a complete and utter miss.
Yeah.
Like taking Lightyear out of the Toy Story universe and do something, it was a miss all around.
It was a good idea. I like the ambition behind the idea, but
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. Apparently, they swung and missed.
huge. So we're gonna get Inside Out 2 and Frozen 3. That's what Iger's ordered. Disney didn't want. Yeah, Disney's been knocking out the park.
Say that again.
We're getting Inside Out 2.
Yep.
And Frozen 3 as the next two films.
Okay. All right. Are we not getting a Moana 2?
I think so. I have a look it up here. Lightyear, I thought it was a good idea. The backstory of the toy. Yeah, you know what? I don't know why they didn't tie it to the toy, because
it seems strange to tie it to the toy as the backstory because of time. I would assume that Lightyear, if he's a real character, a real person, takes place in some future so that they can have spaceships and whatever. And the toy took place obviously in current day. Maybe the toy is based on a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They did, but only the footnote beginning of the movie. Yeah. That's too bad. But yeah, so Star Wars. I'll tell you something though. I didn't watch a lot of the cartoons. I watched Rebels, enjoyed Rebels.
Yep.
I tried to watch Clone Wars, and people hate me for it. I found after the third season it was repetitive.
There was a lot to watch in Clone Wars.
Yeah. 6 seasons, right?
You can argue that it went on maybe a bit too long.
6 seasons, yeah.
But you could also argue that it needed that long to show the turning of Anakin Skywalker to where he would believably do what he did in the third movie there.
I think that the Clone Wars was give green light for 6 seasons, just get people on Disney Plus, which is totally fair.
Well, it was out long before there was Disney Plus was a spark an idea, right?
But it ended at season 5. People said you can't do this to us. Disney goes, you know what? You can watch season 6 on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
thank you very much. I did enjoy the Bad Batch. I thought it wasn't too bad. It was kind of like some special clones.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't really get into the animated films. Like apart from animated shows, apart from Rebels, which I think was pretty good.
Now, most of or all of the Rebels characters are now showing up in the Disney Plus shows.
Yes.
Ahsoka.
Well, you seen you're gonna get Ren and Hera, and Zeb was in season 3 of Mandalorian.
Okay.
Yep. So spoilers.
No spoilers for season 3 of Mandalorian. I haven't watched it yet.
Sorry, spoilers. I'll tell you what.
I knew that, but
it's not bad. Yeah. I think it missed the mark in the last two. The last 2 seasons were strong. I heard that Jon Favreau went to Disney and says, either get out of my face and make the show the way I want it, or else I walk. And they did. And I'm a little disappointed because I thought season 3 missed the mark a bit. It felt like a greatest hits.
Season 3 kind of focuses more on Bo-Katan than the original Mandalorian that we knew. Martin or whatever his name is.
I would do that 100%. I'm all in on that one.
And it's kind of turning it so now they can probably do a series with, if they do season 4, do it with Katie Sackhoff as the Mandalorian of title instead of Pedro Pascal, because he's got to be getting busier and less available with his Last of Us, is it? And
Yeah, I think he'd go one more season of The Mandalorian, then right off the sunset.
I mean, he might get called back for Wonder Woman 85.
But then again, though, Mandalorian was 8 episodes, right? What's your commitment for that?
Yeah.
So,
well, with all the effects and all that stuff and all the green screen work or whatever, I think that's probably a little more difficult, arduous shoot than just your regular show.
well, not with the technology they got. They have that huge virtual room now, right?
Well, and all that.
Yeah, they have that huge virtual room they can shoot in.
Yeah.
The problem is, this is what is a good segue to the Star Wars TV shows. They're damn expensive to make.
Yeah.
They're very expensive. And you think about it, you're not having people buying them or going to see them in the theater to recoup the cost, right? They're relying totally on
I have
Disney
the
Plus.
DVDs for the first 2 series of Mandalorian.
Yeah, well, yeah, you got those.
I like physical media.
Holy cow. First season of Mandalorian cost $100 million to make, $10 million an episode. That's a lot of money. Like I said, it's heavily CGI. The technology they use makes it easy, but it is expensive.
Yeah.
So $10 to $50 million an episode. And Disney's bleeding money on their streaming platform. Now, the good news is you do see all the money on the screen you watch The Mandalorian.
Yes. Yeah, it's all there.
So, live action Disney shows. I guess we got Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett so far. Mandalorian season 1, I didn't know much about it, but when I saw it, I was immediately in love with it. There's no question. Because season 1 was like an old duster. Who doesn't love an old duster, right?
Yep. It really did feel spaghetti westernish.
Yep. Like I said, respected the source material of the past, but didn't throw it in your face. There's so much good things I like about it. I love Werner Herzog. I want to see the baby. I mean, indulge in some libations. Like the actors, Carl Weathers, like, Mando, like they're all, and the stories for episode 1 were self-complained and just, good, simple, not have to be overly complicated and think about things.
And of course, some of the character actors that ended up in it as well, not just Carl Weathers and all that, but
100%.
Paul Sun Young Lee.
To Kim, which we will always kind of talk about that every chance I get. Hearing him talk about being able to be in Star Wars, how he got casted, and his costume fitting, I can listen to that story he tells every time. You heard the story, right?
He's a big fan. He is a
huge his own costumes
fan. I had a chance to meet him.
You did
at a mini Niagara Falls Comic-Con. It was just coming out of the tail end of the lockdowns and pandemic and stuff. It was a fan get together. They had a handful of guests, not many, but he was there, and he was there in his costume, in his Jedi costume, and it was a lot better than me with a sheet tied around my neck. But he was so cool and so gracious and so fun. He actually signed an autograph for somebody.
I have it way over in the corner. I can go fetch.
Go fetch it. Go fetch
it. I will go fetch it. Hang on.
Go fetch it. He actually signed an autograph for our good friend here, who was unable to attend. I had actually went to the event here and said to him, messaging back and forth to Uncle Gutty here, hey, he's here. What do you want me to get? You want me to get you something signed? What do you want? What do you want?
That pays right out.
Your green screen's killing her.
I can't turn my green screen off. Let me see. Let me see if I can kill the background.
Yeah. finally got a hold of him,
There we go.
and we managed to actually FaceTime video talk with Paul here to find out about what he would get signed. And you were at the time getting an upgrade for your wife's cell phone. And
Yes, I was.
his quote on the autograph.
It says, "I hope the phone upgrade was worth it. I'm still gonna need a ping from you. Best, Paul Carsteva. May the force be with you." You FaceTimed me with him,
Yep.
and he chirped me.
He chirped you.
He chirped me pretty hard, actually.
Yep. It was pretty hilarious, and that just shows what a great guy he is.
He is.
Hey, can you talk to my friend who's in Ottawa and can't be here, who can't even talk to you for a second because he's getting his wife's cell phone upgraded?
Yeah, And the other person that surprised me in The Mandalorian was Bill Burr.
Yeah.
I'd only known him as a raunchy comedian.
Yep.
I loved his first appearance, but his second appearance in season 2, where he's talking to the Imperial officer and they're reminiscing about a massacre and the one guy celebrates it. Just the emotion of that scene, the way he did and the way he responds was fantastic.
I'm going to run to Old Man Kitchen and get an Old Man glass of water.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Pete. Be 1 second.
But The Mandalorian is not just for Star Wars fans. Check out season 1. Give it a chance. If you watch it, it feels kind of like I said, an old duster, like those Clint Eastwood ones with the man with no name, going out into the West is bounty hunting. Watch it because there's action, there's adventure, there's a little bit of everything in it. In that first season, I encourage you to take a shot on it. My dad liked it. My wife actually liked it as well, basically. And like I said, it wasn't about the spaceships or the laser guns. It's about the characters and the stories that were in these episodes.
And the fact that the characters had spaceships and laser guns. Never hurts.
Exactly. I didn't mind season 2. I just finished watching season 3. I thought it missed a step, but you know what? There's only so much of the lone wolf you can tell before you make the story too big, and that's all I got to say about that for now.
Yep.
On the flip side, I love the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
I loved it because
so you're the one that did.
He's a villain.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't heard great things about it.
You got to go into the right mind, basically. Boba Fett basically is a bounty hunter. He's out for himself. That's all he is, right? And so basically we pick up from how he gets out of his demise and we follow him along his path and all that. I had no problems with it. My only complaint was there was enough Boba Fett in it. And the actor Temuera Morrison, he loves playing Boba Fett, and this guy does not miss a friggin' beat.
Boba Fett or playing various clones.
Yep. But he loves it basically. And bringing back my favorite character too, Fennec Shand. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I enjoyed it. There is some nonsense in it. Like you said, you talk about basically drag racing and crap like that. There is a bit of nonsense in it.
Do they have a pod race?
Almost.
Oh boy.
But there are still some good things that I personally like about it. Like I said, I won't.
Did they bring back Sebulba?
No. Well, not quite. I think they do show a Doug, but not Sebulba Doug. But there's some choices that they made I thought was dumb. Like I said, not having enough Boba Fett. But it is a different beast from the Mandalorian. It's a different story and a different kind of theme. This is a guy who is ruthless. He's a bounty hunter, and he's out for himself. Forget this code of honor crap. He's out for himself to a degree.
What did you think of the PTSD poster movie or show Obi-Wan?
I'm so dumb. I kind of forgot about that one.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I thought it showed background to the character and depth of the character, and showed how all this stuff really affects him and people in general, or can affect people in general, and how he had kind of, as Luke did in episode 7, 8, 9, whatever, kind of shut himself off from the Force. He kind of turned off as well, partially to hide, and partially because he didn't know his place anymore.
Exactly.
And seeing the struggle as he went through, and I'm a sucker for the hero return stories. So seeing him get his powers back was really cool for a nerdgasm
Yeah.
for me.
Like I said, Ewan McGregor did not miss a single beat between
Yeah.
any of the films and all that. I enjoyed it to a degree. I thought it was a little bit drawn out to see what we wanted to see. It was really really drawn out. But we got there in the end, and it was well pay off. I also thought the girl that played young Leia, Vivian Leigh Blair,
Yep.
was fantastic. You
Yep.
know, and I thought it was good. I don't know if I'd watch it again though. Like I said, it was waiting for that final payoff you knew was coming was good.
Hmm.
But you know what? It was good once, and I thought it was just basically a bit more drawn out. I heard it was put on hold because the scripts were garbage first time around.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think the strips were garbage.
No. The ones that the ones that we have
Oh,
now
okay.
are decent,
Okay. All right.
are passable.
So it was in rewrite
Yeah.
hell.
The initial one, I think even McGregor said, "We can't shoot this. This is garbage." And I think I'm looking through it real quick here. Basically, yeah, they hired a new writer in 2020 to take over. Yeah, because they're too busy working on the Rise of Skywalker, and the script needed
Some doctoring.
yeah, yeah, there's a lot show like let me see here. Was it Show here, whoever she is? Showing the scripts to Fargo and Filoni, who expressed concern over how similar the Mandalorian and encouraged show to go to bigger, basically. So yeah, they had to basically rewrite the scripts because the initial passes were not good. We got them in the end though. But like I said, I liked it, and I think it was a good show to add basically a nice fill the gap between Mandalorian and other shows, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Hey, mind you though, I forgot about Andor.
Well, again, sorry, it was another nice fill in the blanks and let us know what happened to this character to get him to here that we saw and loved in episode 4 and stuff like that.
It felt more like an episode, an effort just to see Obi-Wan back, as well as basically Hayden Christian. I'm glad that guy's getting a lot of love for playing Vader, and
Yep.
he was keen, like, I'll come back. Like, couldn't ask for a nicer guy. But like I said, speaking of Andor, I have to rank Andor as probably my top favorite
best, yeah.
Star Wars. I'm sorry, I know. Again, it felt more like I said. I know everybody loves seeing the Jedi and all this stuff and all that, but taking them out of the equation and I'll have to nuke that. Taking them out of the equation and stuff like that, and getting back to basically just the just to the basic kind of like core grittiness like that. I
Mhm.
loved it. Plus you got you got to see enough of the Empire, and Empire get beat up on, which was nice.
Yeah. Mhm. Let's what do we think for Star Wars games?
Star Wars games. Let me see here.
Favorites or
Oh, X-Wing.
Yep.
X-Wing, TIE Fighter. Those early kind of like
side scrollers from the Nintendo and that, the NES.
exactly, yeah.
Yep. They were hard. Ooh.
Yes, they were hard, which was surprising.
Yeah. Or I was just bad at games.
Well, maybe because Dark Forces came out, right?
Dark Forces
that's
was for 64. No,
Yep.
sorry, Dark Forces was for the PC. That was
PC,
their
Doom-like.
Doom version.
Yeah,
Right?
and I like that one.
Yep.
But the ones beyond that, those 3D scrollers like Jedi Knight and all that, they were a little tough. I've tried playing them again, and they are a little tough.
Yep.
Oh, good job, Mike Bernier. I enjoyed Pod Racer. It was the first Star Wars game I played in my homeland. I must admit, Star Wars Pod Racer was good.
Okay. Yep.
But
they had a lot of Star Wars games for the PlayStation 1.
Oh,
there was one that was basically what a Star Wars Twisted Metal. I can't remember what it was called.
Look up Star Wars video games.
There was also Masters of Terras Kasi, which was like
Okay.
their Mortal Kombat fighting game or whatever, which
Oh.
was really kind of fun as well.
Don't forget Rebel Assault '93. That was pretty big.
Yep.
Had Dark Force, Dark Force 2, Rogue Squadron. Rogue Squadron for 64. I played the heck out of that
Yeah.
game.
Rogue Squadron for N64 was incredible, and there was an episode 1 Easter egg in it. I think
There was an episode 1 Easter egg in it too.
you did something, and was it in the N64? Was it in? Yeah, because you had Battle for Naboo in the N64 as well.
Yeah.
A few years later, so it was around the right time. So yeah, you did something or whatever. You completed everything with a gold level or something like that, and you could unlock one of the Naboo starfighter or whatever. I think.
Yeah, I've tried playing Battlefront. I like it. It's like basically a chaotic, red versus blue. Pick a side and start shooting away all that. It's fun.
Yep.
Some of the newer ones, it's kind of cheese with the heroes and all that, but it's entirely fun if you want to pretend to be a stormtrooper or a rebel trooper or whatever and go at it.
Yep.
I spent a lot of time playing those real-time strategy ones. So like Star Wars Galaxy at War. It was like Command and Conquer style kind of stuff.
Yep. There was the Age of Empires one. Was it Galactic Battlegrounds?
Galactic Battlegrounds, which I've downloaded on my PC here.
Yep.
That
was a lot of fun.
One that I played, I'm trying to think of it. It was a weird one. So it took place, I think it was called Rebellion. So it took place in the Star Wars universe. You could play as Rebel or
Empire.
Empire, duh. Rebels had to capture the Emperor. Emperor had to blow up the Rebel base, basically. But everything happened kind of like in real time. So if you flew to a planet someplace, it would take them 74 days. It would count down, like you speed up time, it would count down and stuff like that. And you have space fleets and ground fleets that would engage in automatic battles and all that. It was really strategic. Star Wars Rebellion. And I liked it because you could recruit like Han Solo, Leia, Chewie, and they all had special abilities and bounty hunters. I liked it because it was like less kind of clicky and more kind of strategic.
Yep. One of the most fun Star Wars games I ever played has got to still be Lego Episode 1.
Lego Star Wars games are great. Do not sleep on them.
Yep.
They
were difficult enough to be challenging, but they were not difficult enough to be fun.
Yeah,
they were just like the perfect level. There were some tricky puzzles in some of them if you wanted to get like the perfect score.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Pem actually 100% at the Skywalker trilogy, the Skywalker saga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those were hard and well, not hard, but they were challenging. They were a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And so much replayability with them.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And like I say, you didn't need a lot of skill to play them, and you could really go at them.
Yep. What was the very first Star Wars game? Was it what was the Tunnels Maze one?
I'll look it up here. First Star Wars video game. I bet it's gonna say that was the arcade cabinet. Yeah, I'm gonna put the arcade cabinet in '83 as a first Star Wars game officially. As a first licensed Star Wars game. I played the heck out of the arcade cabinet. There's no question on that one. And it got released on pretty much every single home platform you could imagine. And I was also lucky enough to actually play the sit down, get inside the cabinet version of that too as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that was in '83 that Star Wars arcade cabinet came out.
Okay. There was one for PC though that I remember. It was like you were going through a tunnel. It was it was a lame game. It was pretty bad. But it was basically just like line art tunnels that you were just going down, and you had to pretend you were a Star Wars ship.
Was it officially sanctioned or just someone off the top of their head?
I don't remember.
It doesn't come up as an official game, so
yeah.
Looking for a long lost Star Wars like tunnel like arcade game. Someone put in Reddit. Buck Rogers, Planet of Zoom. No, that wasn't it. Because it looks like what you're describing. It was like a lame game, but yeah, could be Stun Run or whatever. But yeah, no, I play a lot of the. Like I said, I played a lot of like X-wing Tie Fighter. I got it on my PC, just haven't fired it up because that needs a joystick. And like I said, I played a lot of that arcade, a lot of that Star Wars arcade. Still do an Ant Stream. I haven't played too many other board games. I've got a couple of board games here.
Yep.
Their newest stuff is great. I've got Outer Rim I should bring, where you take on the role of a smuggler or bounty hunter. And you're going around the Outer Rim trying to complete missions. They've got Star Wars, the card game. One side's Empire, one side's Rebellion. You're building your deck. It's kind of like a fixed deck. I heard that wasn't too bad. There's a lot of like little board games that are okay. But like I said, I haven't heard anything that, this is going to be the best Star Wars board game you got to get kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've invested a lot in like the Star Wars miniature game. I got a whole box full of these things. They made version 2 and kind of outdid all the first round of miniatures, which really sucked. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So future Star Wars properties. We already talked about Ahsoka.
Yep.
I'm kind of curious about that one because I would say I'm gun shy on it, but it could be good, could be bad, right? Like I know Ahsoka is a good character, but I think Ahsoka is better at being mysterious and should not be the center of attention of a series. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's an excuse, like you said, to bring in other
everyone's the
characters.
center of attention in their own story from a certain point of view.
I don't think Ahsoka is that strong of a character, dude. Like I think she works best in small, well, I say that when you look back at her whole run with Anakin and Clone Wars and stuff like that. Yeah, but I think later on though, I don't think, I don't know. That's why I'll wait and see basically. But because that series will be used to introduce, of course, a few of the Rebels characters. Like we've seen Mara Jade's in there. I mean, Hera, I think Sabine Wen was in there. And of course, there's all this buzz about Grand Admiral Thrawn making an appearance soon.
Yeah. Which maybe if those are successful enough and we play into it properly, well, I guess it's too late to give us the Thrawn trilogy as a movie.
It is,
or as movies. Just the age of the actors and
well, the Thrawn trilogy has been discarded. It's no longer canon. All that stuff is now called Legends. It's done.
Yeah.
So that will never materialize.
Is a gigantic shame because it was the best sequel they had done.
It was. At least we'll get Thrawn. Yeah. I hope that the Ahsoka series will portray him the way he is, because he is a very, great villain, I think, and a great character.
Yep.
We are getting a new film.
Yeah.
A new Rey film. I can't believe that.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Will be set after the Rise of Skywalker.
Yep.
And see Rey rebuilding the Jedi Order. I think this is going to be a huge miss.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. Apparently, Filoni is getting a live action Star Wars movie.
Unless they pull it kind of like an X-Men First Class.
Well, all they say basically is taking a place after Rise of Skywalker, Rey's rebuilding the Jedi Order. That's all that's known. It'll be directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who helmed Ms. Marvel episode 4 and 5. Don't know. But I think it's going to be a huge miss.
Yeah.
Because I think
I'm not holding out a lot of hope for it.
I think 7, 8, and 9 are not well thought of properties. So we've got that coming.
Yep.
We've got a James Mangold Star Wars movie, who is the Indiana Jones.
Do we or do we not?
Well, Indiana Jones director.
Teased for quite a while.
Well, he said he's working on a film that'll be set thousands of years in the past. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Knights of the Republic. But it was announced at Celebration, basically.
Yep. Okay.
Dave Filoni, Star Wars darling, he's getting his own Star Wars film sometime. Just says live action Star Wars movie. Take place between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. So that will basically be in his Mandalorian time period.
Yep.
And of course, my favorite, Taika Waititi, he's getting a Star Wars film.
Oh boy.
Unknown date. Movie. All basically movies heading to cinemas. That's it. Late 2023 release. I haven't locked it again. Could be December. Who knows? He wants to explore a new side of Star Wars, something different. He says. Oh, great. Well, that's like the blueprints from Millennium Falcon. That's Chewbacca's grandmother. That sounds alone, but he's gonna try to get some creative. Sean Levy's getting one. Free Guy Helmer.
Yep.
Won't be in production after Deadpool 3 and Stranger Things season 5 is wrapped up.
Yep.
That might be an interesting pedigree. Oh my God, Rian Johnson's getting a new trilogy, allegedly. And these are all basically just saying, "Oh, canceled." Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, that's the one that everyone's looking forward to.
Well, I didn't hear too much about it, but I don't think Patty Jenkins was the right person for it because I don't think she understood the material.
No, possibly not. But just from the title alone, I wanted to see it.
Oh, 100%.
Squadron books were really, really good.
100%.
Books and yeah.
Apparently, creators
they kind of were that war story or war movie that you could relate to, or your dad could relate to, and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. So,
or follow at least, yeah.
Exactly. So basically, creative differences cancel the film. This film is now so far it's way out beyond what Taika's. Yeah, they still say it's for all intents and purposes. She's still getting a Star Wars film. It's going to be Rogue One, they said. Because guess what? Wonder Woman 3 got canceled.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Takes up history of the Air Force, desire to create, quote, the greatest fighter pilot movie ever.
I would really like to see that.
I don't know. I have to see what she'll do with it.
Kevin, someone to do it. I don't care who.
Yeah. Kevin Feige is getting a friggin' Star Wars movie. Oh, well, that's been canceled too. Pardon me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. It was his movie. That's his movie.
Wait a minute. I think I just got a text that I think I'm getting a Star Wars movie.
There's a lot of people that are getting Star Wars movies, basically, but
and left, right, and center. It sounds like.
Well, it sounds like they're trying to go after like competent directors, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Taika will totally put out a film. It could be good. Like if it's like Star Wars, if it's like Thor, Ragnarok, it'll be great.
Yeah.
If it's like Love and Thunder, it'll be crappy.
Yeah.
So we got to soak up.
If you give them too much rope, they hang themselves. If you give them too much access to all the toys in the toy box without supervision, they end up shoving a lightsaber up their nose.
100%.
Yeah.
We've got a couple other series still coming. There's that Skeleton Crew 2023. Jude Law to star. I forget what the plot is about, basically. It's a story about a group of kids, about 10 years old, a tiny planet, get lost in the galaxy. He's trying to get home. Okay. The Acolyte 2024. From Russian doll creator Leslie Headland. Ooh, could be good. Roughly before the Skywalker saga. Looking good. Shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers. Okay, possibly. Bad Batch season 3. They're still kicking around Orlando series. I'd watch Orlando series.
Yeah, if it's got Glover in it, yeah.
And of course, indefinitely delayed, Rangers of the New Republic.
Is that the I can't remember her name was Cara Dune?
No, that's Paul's movie. He's a Ranger. They wrote Cara Dune out, thank God.
Well, yeah.
But that would have been basically more Carson Teva.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's basically there until someone calls it dead. It's just basically, basically unmade right now. Yeah, Swollen Marigold. Yeah, everybody's getting one. Like I said, yeah, everybody's getting a Star Wars film. But yeah, so there is stuff coming. They want to do a droid story too. Yeah.
They could just adapt the comic or the cartoon.
Yeah. So there are
No,
properties coming.
Yep.
But I think Ahsoka's next one.
Love them or hate them, the latest movies or whatever, they did keep the story going,
Oh God, yeah.
which is what real fans really want, I think.
100%.
Yep.
Well, real fans also want the
Keep
classic
it
stuff,
going in
right?
some way, shape, or form, just so that even if it fails, there's a chance that another one will get made and it'll get better.
I've got a question for you.
Yep.
Have you seen Star Wars Visions on Disney Plus?
No, what is that?
It's like a 7 or 8 cartoons drawn in a kind of like anime style, basically.
Okay.
It's quite good. I recommend you do check them out.
Okay.
I was kind of impressed by them, especially when I could figure out how to get off of Japanese and put it in English. I can. Yeah. So Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, and Lando. Skeleton Crew is calling for 2023. Acolyte 2024. So that's all that's planned. Ahsoka is August.
Yes. Yep.
August 2023. Andor season 2, August 2024.
Okay.
Which I thought would be good, basically.
Spoiler alert: Andor doesn't die in the series.
But yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said,
neither does Obi-Wan in his.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They really haven't got plans out beyond the Lando possibly TV series for coming up. Like I said, though, they're bleeding money. Disney's bleeding money. They're not getting like return back on their subscriptions. So something's got to give.
Well, I think that they're realizing maybe they need to go back to movies instead of series a little bit more to try and get those box office dollars.
I heard the box office really isn't there anymore, really, with COVID.
Talk to Tom Cruise and see what he says about that. I don't know.
Well, Tom Cruise got a following, but look at the Marvel films, right? I think they're starting to kind of the horse is being beaten, right? I do not expect.
They're starting to peter out a bit, yeah.
I do not expect Guardians 3 to actually do well. Guardians 2 wasn't bad, but I think I could feel the fatigue setting in.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Ant-Man Quantumania yet. I watched it on streaming because I knew it was going to be a.
What's going on with that one and Disney Plus? It's not available yet, is it?
Not yet.
Now, is that because of the fallout of the Jonathan Majors stuff?
I don't think so.
He's got several charges pending against him for domestic abuse or whatever, I believe, right?
Yeah. Oh, it hits the DC Plus this month.
Okay.
Yeah, that basically will be interesting. I think they'll recast him.
He's a character that they could recast.
Exactly. He's basically multiple identities and multiple times, right?
Yeah. So very easily they can recast him.
Yeah. So it'll be coming to Disney Plus May 17th, Quantumania.
Okay.
Yeah, a little slow on the feet dragging, but yeah. Yeah, we'll see though. But I got a feeling that Marvel is, how do I put it? Needs a break. You know?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Star Wars, dude? We kind of really went through the whole magical universe, except for the toys and stuff. I mean, that was good.
Just like, thank you, Star Wars, for being there and being fun for us. Thank you for dividing the fans and for causing massive fights.
Yep. I'm enjoying the resurgence. I'm enjoying this renaissance of Star Wars stuff. I'll take anything I can get, so I'm enjoying it immensely.
Yep.
Like I said,
because Star Wars fans are passionate in both directions.
100%. And like I said, I actually go to Star Wars Land at Disney Plus. I mean, at Disneyland, it was a blast.
Yep.
I would have preferred basically as more old school Star Wars, but I still got to fly the Falcon.
Yep.
But cool. Yeah, Star Wars has been something I'm glad to have been a part of, and I've been part of the fandom. And
who are the better or worse fans? Star Wars fans or Star Trek fans? Or are they the same? Because they're both so passionate about their favorites and their properties, and they both want it to be better and good.
I'll tell you what, I've met more worse Star Wars fans than I have met Star Trek fans.
Yeah.
I found Trekkie fans to be generally, pretty tolerable and acceptable people.
Mhm.
I've seen civil wars break out
Yeah.
among Star Wars
Yeah,
fans and
true. Yeah.
gatekeeping. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the age, because I know most Star Trek fans are a little older. I love both of them too,
Me too.
very much so. But
I just
yeah,
figured we sorry, suggested that we do this tonight because I realized that, well, first it is May the 4th, and second, we've done so much talk on Star Trek lately that we kind of forgot about our other child here.
exactly. Like I said, I'm a
Yeah.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Not so much a Trekkie. Greg's a big
Yep.
Trekkie, but I'm a
Yep.
huge Star Wars fan. I like talking about Star Trek just
Yep.
because, like I said, they are both science fiction, but they are both different beasts when it comes down to it.
Yep.
But yeah, they are very passionate. I've met, like I said, like more troublesome Star Wars fans as
Yep.
of late. Um, best fans are Doctor Who fans though. I've never met a Doctor Who. I never met a Doctor Who fan that wanted to argue or really like, even when you talk about your best doctors, everybody just like, yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can see the reasoning behind your love for each character.
Yeah. Like I said, I enjoy Colin Baker, Doctor Who 6, which most people do not care for. No one blinks an eye. Okay, good, good,
Yeah.
good, good.
Yeah. Yeah. If you tell him that though.
Oh my
We
gosh.
we did meet Colin Baker at Niagara Falls Comic Con a few
Oh
years
my
back. I
god.
said that he was my second favorite Doctor, compared to my first favorite, which was John Pertwee. Which he said, "Well, you're my second favorite fan because you had just said that he was your favorite Doctor to him."
Well, the best part was when I was talking to him about the Big Finish episodes, and I said, I remember that one, and I was describing it. He goes, I know that one. Arrangements for War, or talk about it. He goes, I like you. You,
Yeah,
not so much.
yeah,
We need to do a Doctor Who night some night too.
we will absolutely.
Yeah, but we've actually gone through the Star Wars stuff pretty good. I'm impressed, basically.
Yeah,
Like, like Star Trek, I made it for a whole that worked. like, like the Star Wars stuff, like Star Trek, you really have to digest the shows because there's so many of them. There's so many episodes. You can really digest them. Star Wars, basically, you've got movies and very short TV series. You can actually blast through them in a night or two and talk about them. Um, like Next Generation, I could probably talk a few weeks about Next Generation, stuff like that. But
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
good. It's good. We'll have to figure out what our next topic will be.
yeah, yeah. We will. Absolutely.
Any final thoughts, man?
Well,
Go Panthers.
yeah, yeah. My Leafs kind of crapped out there today, again.
And She
But
said she sat down and they scored 2 goals in 40 seconds. Oh, here we go. Oh, revenge of the fifth.
I mean, I don't think we can get back again tomorrow, but
No, we should talk about Lord of the Rings though.
we should do Lord of the Rings. That's
Excuse me.
a huge marathon as well if you want to do the movies.
Well, not only that, I'm going to talk about basically the Bashki animated films, the other animated films.
Yep. Yep.
There's the musical. Oh my God, I'm talking about the musical. Oof.
I saw the musical.
You saw the musical?
I did. I
I heard,
did.
I heard it was very
Um,
good.
I saw the musical. It was July 17th, 2006. And my father had gotten married on June 17th, 2006. And as a wedding present, because my father was a massive Lord of the Rings fan, we got tickets to the Lord of the Rings musical for him. We got 4 tickets there for myself, my wife, and him and his wife. In the coming weeks, my wife left me, so we returned one of the tickets, and I went to the Lord of the Rings musical with him and his wife there for the weekend in Toronto when my ex-wife moved out.
That's a harsh memory.
Yeah, and then I wrecked my car in an accident on the way home. Yeah.
Switching the musical. I did not hear very good things about it.
It seemed very forced.
Oh.
It seemed like there were no memorable songs with it, really. It seemed like they kind of tried to force a musical, but the production was really good. The sets and everything were really well done. The costumes were really cool and well done. But even though there were lots of songs in the original Tolkien books,
Mm,
they didn't really use a lot of that material that I remember.
okay.
I think maybe a Hobbit musical would have been a little bit better and easier to do because everyone had seen the Hobbit cartoon, I think, or
Oh
at least
yeah.
the fans or whatever, and they knew a lot of the songs from that, and they could have adapted
Mm.
those pretty
Well,
easily.
I bet
Yeah,
you Bernier is a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I bet
yeah.
you he remembers the same thing like Star Wars. You got those two cartoons, and none of them neither one of them were complete. Well, had the Hobbit,
But
Basket's Lord of the Rings,
3 cartoons.
yeah, and there was another kind of
Re
like,
Return of the King was the one that finished it off.
and was even related to the first one, believe it or not.
Well, the Return of the King cartoon, matched the animation style of The
Hmm.
Hobbit, because
But
the Lord of
yeah,
the Rings cartoon animation style was completely out there.
well,
It
that's
was
that's
a
Bashki doing his
mix of
rotoscoping.
live action with animation drawn over top of it, and it was crazy.
That was Bashki's style for rotomation. He used it in all his films. So
Yeah,
The Hobbit um, came out, and then Bashki's Lord of the Rings came out, I think.
yep,
Yep. And
and
then
it only did, like, the first 2 books.
yeah, Turn of the
And then
King.
they booted him, I guess, and or told him to, like, completely tone it down and
Oh,
change it
what a mess. So
because
before The
the
Hobbit aired on NBC,
yep,
Bashki's came out,
okay,
and then taking elements from the last one of the Rings, they developed a musical, The Return of the King. The voice artist and production as The Hobbit. The Return of the King is a frame device. Both The Hobbit, Return of the King begin and end with the slave of Riverdale. Return of the King is often mistaken as Bashki's sequel. Oh yeah, oh yeah, it was
I
just
think
a mess.
story-wise, it kind of picked up there, but it wasn't a sequel to his movie, no.
No, 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 what a mess. I do
Yeah,
remember watching both of them though, and I don't care. They're great. We should do Lord of the Ring night because I remember
yeah,
reading the books, seeing the films. Like I said, I know Burning watches the trilogy every Christmas, extended, the
yep,
massive sit down. I remember my
yep.
thoughts seeing them. There was the cartoons, and we were talking about Hopperton too. And basically, it also talks about Peter Jackson, my favorite directors. I'm glad he got his break.
We, we missed Lord of the Rings Day, which is apparently March the 25th,
Oh, did
which
not
is
know
the
that.
date of the downfall of, Sauron.
Did not know that.
Um, but there's September 22nd is a Hobbit Day, so that's the birthday of, Bilbo and Frodo.
That's awesome. Let's make a plan to do Lord of the Rings, and we'll do a little bit of research on that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Our next topic will be Lord of the Rings, so that'd be absolutely cool.
yeah.
Like I
Although
said, yes.
it's the beginning of May now.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I'm gone to mom's next week
okay, yep.
on and off, so we're getting close to Comic-Con time.
I was gonna say we're getting close to Comic-Con here, so
Mhm. Yeah, I don't really have any costume set up either for Comic-Con. I'm just gonna go freestyle.
oh, you
Obviously,
said
yeah, no.
freestyle. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So you got a tickle trunk full of costumes. You just pull one out and just give her.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, geez.
Mm. I have to see. I thought about trying to put together an Andor prisoner costume, just
Yep.
running through the thing going, "One way out, one way out." I don't know if people would get that or not, but I'll have to see. I could wear my buckskin suit and go as Apache Chief.
There you
That'd be
go.
awkward. Apache Chief.
Nook
Oh,
shook.
look, shook.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice. We should do a Super Friends one night too as well, because
Yeah.
introducing Black Vulcan, Super Samurai, and Apache Chief.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's be diverse.
Mhm.
Mm.
So next one will be Lord of the Rings. Let's do Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings
All
because
right, Lord of the Rings.
I don't know much about it.
All right.
I've
Yep.
read the books and saw the films, but I would not call myself a hardcore fan.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. All right. Final thoughts. I love Star Wars.
Me too.
Me.
We're better off in the world for having Star Wars.
100%.
Star Wars is fun.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Should we sign off then?
We should sign off. Yep.
All right.
Everyone, thank you for watching.
Much
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
joining us.
Like I said, take care of yourselves. Watch the skies. Follow us on social media on the Twitter sphere. That's where we'll probably hype up our old man theater since we're old.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Just thanks for spending some time with us, guys. Much appreciate it.
Yeah. We will see you in the future because it's impossible right now for us to see you in the past.
Exactly.
If you're
Thanks, Mike.
watching out there, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Michael. We got to get together sometime. I haven't seen you in ages, dude. But yeah, that's always great. All right.
All right.
Till next time, Switz. Have a good one.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. And may the 4th be with you.
Awesome.